Alrighty, let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about the SEI. So this is an alpha quadrotype. Their dual is the ILE. So for this type, their worldview or their base function, their four-dimensional function is going to be SI. So they're going to be very in tune with their environment, very in tune with how they feel. This is an ethical type as well. So it's not only about their sensory experience, but it's also about how they feel, their emotions, and in terms of how they feel in their body. So there's going to be someone who's very in touch with their emotions, and whether something makes them happy, whether something makes them sad. This is going to be something that's very central for this type, and in particular, this is SI versus SE. So SI is homeostasis, it's equilibrium, it's creating a sense of balance. It's also, SEI, for SEI, it might be described as harmony. So ultimately, this is a FE valuing type. They're looking for that sense of harmony in the environment. They can be capable with extrovert sensation, but it goes against everything that they are. They can apply force when need to, and they can modulate force when they need to. But generally speaking, they're looking for that harmonic approach. And so as a result, they're probably not going to use a lot of force. But it's something they are aware of. And so if they need to be firm, I think that this type can be firm. But again, their whole attitude is, SI valuing. So that's not really what they're going to prefer to do unless they need to. And this is a FI demonstrative type. So I'm an IEI, so I'm also an FI demonstrative type. And I spoke with an SCI recently, and it sounded like she deals with relationships very similarly to the way that I do. I think these types just have a general sense of whether someone's worth trying to fix things with, or someone's worth investing time into. And I think these types generally get along with most people. That's the thing. SEIs and IEIs are probably the most friendly types in the Socion. I'm checking that. Yeah, I think they're probably the most friendly types in the Socion, SEI and IEI. I don't know if you can hear that. My fridge made a noise. I think it's the fridge. Anyways, SEI and IEI have, they're generally both very friendly. IEI maybe a little bit less so. So I think SEI might take the cake here. And they're really, really good at interpersonal relationships. I can speak for myself when I say that I generally get along with almost everybody. I just do. It's not something that I spend a lot of conscious attention on, but it's something that I tend to make friends wherever I go, and it's not a difficult thing. Whereas SEI is going to be the same. They're gonna get along with people quite well, probably very naturally, and I would say maybe even more naturally than an IEI. IEIs tend to be pretty weird. They're I've just seen a lot of different kinds of IEIs, and they're going to be nerdy. They're going to be high intuitive types, and so I think that IEIs are more likely to bond with people over their interests, like eclectic interests, And SEIs are going to be more, more grounded, more easier to get along with in a general sort of, I'm trying to find a way to say this without being off-putting in any way, but I guess what I'm just trying to say is like in a very normal way. They're a very why am I struggling with this? They're just relatable. I think that most people would find SEIs relatable. Like intuitive types can be weird. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say. Intuitive types can be weird. And so, I think that this person's going to get along with people in a very, human, very grounded kind of way. So, wow, I was like trying to dodge that problem so hard. But they're also, they really care about keeping the atmosphere light and the vibes light. I've also noticed that, because of that sensing orientation, SEIs tend to be really good at things like, I know this is gonna sound crazy. It's true though. It like baking. I find that like SEIs love, it's like they love things like that because they know that it can make people feel a certain way. Like it's like through the senses, right? Like, having a certain meal or, having certain kinds of foods or baked goods or whatever the case may be can make you feel a certain way. It can make you happy. It can make you feel good. And so this is something that the SEIs can be focused on, just mediating emotions through experiences and through the physical. So yeah, and they're generally, very positive types. And very empathetic or very good at holding space for people. I find that as an IEI, I have a really hard time with, I feel like I'm blowing people off a lot of times because in my mind I have a track that I'm on. And so sometimes people will show up and I'm trying to manage my interaction with them, but I'm also like, I gotta go do that. So like, I feel like an SEI would almost be better at, they do have better SE than me. They'd probably be better at like drawing the line and, holding space. Like I think they do a lot better with like that line, like walking that line, I guess. I think that an IEI is more likely to struggle with that. So, anyways, mobilizing introverted logic. So they're going to be very routine driven. SEIs are going to be very routine oriented. They're going to have, they're going to structure their environment quite a lot. It's not going to be like really good. It's going to be pretty good. That mobilizing TI can be very good because it is a focus point of the type. And another way the TI can be used as well is, exploring ideas. They're not going to be constantly generating those ideas and perspectives, but they do enjoy it. And for the SI base types that are, so focused on that equilibrium state or that, state of harmony, they need someone to shake things up a little bit, right? And the ILE is going to be that type for them that's going to do that. And so I think that in general, the SEI is going to be looking for the ILE to provide a lot of different things that they can do, a lot of different ideas, possibilities, ways to do things differently. I think just in general, the ILE is going to shake things up for the SEI. And even just beyond that, as far as talking about crazy, weird things, I think that the ILEs are are going to provide a lot of, material and content. And I think the SEIs, they may have one-dimensional NE, but I think they're going to really enjoy those conversations and exploring those ideas. But they may be more grounded in the way that they do it and sort of have a more down-to-earth approach. And they may even ground the ILE's ideas into something a little bit more real or a little bit more relatable. I think that's actually a big part of this type. Honestly, I think, the ILE tends to be sort of detached from the human experience in a lot of ways. They're just, we call them detached types. They're very detached types of people. And the SEI is a lot more in tune with, humanity and what it's like to be human and, feel feelings and embrace experience, So I think that there's going to be a sort of mediation that's happening there that the SEI is doing for the ILE. Another thing, I've noticed that the role NI. I've actually noticed role NI is similar between the SI-based types, SEI and SLI. They both sort of seem to experience it as a sort of gut feeling. Sort of like they don't know why. They know that something's probably going to happen a certain way, but they do. They get a strong feeling, and then it tends to happen that way. In fact, from what I heard, they're quite good at it. I have noticed that, an SLI friend, actually I did a type interview with them, so you can see what I'm referring to, described that they, predicted that something was going to happen for a friend, that did end up happening. And in the case with the SEI friend, they were, in fact, the ILE friend said that it was a ILE SEI couple, and the ILE said that his wife is never wrong when it comes to these things. That when she's got a sense, he can't recall a single time that she's been wrong about what was likely to happen. So that's really interesting. I think it's sort of like a, rather than like the NI types that sort of have like this grand vision, I think this is more like down to earth or more practical. It's like, it's more of an intuition, just living your everyday life and then having a sense that something's going to happen a specific way. I think that is, it's a smaller, but it's a more functional or, it's a more functional use of NI, I suppose you could say. So that's how I've heard that goes. And in the case of SEI, who has a vulnerable TE, it's going to be a little different than the way that IEI's vulnerable TE happens. IEIs are really going to struggle with TE in the real world. I think that for SEIs, it's going to be more of an abstract use of TE. It's going to be more reasoning out different strategies or reasoning out different approaches or different solutions. I think is going to be the part where SEIs struggle. And ILEs are great at that. Like we talked about in the ILE video, ILEs have a very they can just come up with tons of different solutions. So that's the part that the SEI is going to need help with. And in the case of, II, for example, that's actually easier for them. It's harder to do the more down-to-earth practical tasks. So yeah, that covers the SEI. So just a really fun-loving kind of person. I genuinely think that SEIs are a great type and very relatable people, and I wish I had more of them in my life because I don't have that many. So if you are an SEI, you should come join our Discord and we can be friends. So yeah, And the link for the Discord is down below. And I'm looking forward to you guys joining us. Go ahead and give me a like on this video, subscribe, and let me know if you have any thoughts down below, or if you have any videos you want to see, and we can make it happen. I've got a lot of exciting things coming up. I'm very excited about it, so just let me know what you guys would like to see, and I'll see what I can do to make it happen. All right.